Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into a world that has, well, haunted our screens and imaginations for decades. The terrifying, intricate saga of Resident Evil.
Absolutely. It's got such a grip, hasn't it?
It really does. But what is it about this world that truly lingers long after the game is put down? It's far more than just the visceral jump scares or the endless parade of horrifying creatures, or even just the frantic thrill of survival against overwhelming odds.
Yeah, there's something deeper.
There's something profoundly deeper at play, something that truly sticks with you, a nagging question, maybe a chilling warning. Resident Evil isn't merely a game series. It's a profound mirror reflecting human ambition, the very nature of horror, and the relentless, often desperate struggle for survival against odds that seem utterly insurmountable.
That's a great way to put it. A mirror.
Today, we're stepping far beyond the surface, right into the dark, complex heart of this saga. Our mission is to understand what Resident Evil truly reveals about us.
And to do that, we've been given a unique, almost sacred privilege. We have access to what's been cryptically termed the Dark Archive.
The Dark Archive. Sounds ominous.
It is. It's a chilling collection of fragmented records, torn memos, stained logs, and even the desperate final words of the forgotten, all painstakingly gathered from beneath the rubble of what was once Raccoon City.
Wow. So, like, recovered after the event.
Exactly. And the file custodian, identifying only as the last witness or archivist of the dead, states quite plainly in their opening notes, "I did not set out to become the keeper of the dead."
Oh.
Which emphasizes the accidental, almost burdened nature of this crucial historical record, a burden of truth unearthed from tragedy.
That's incredibly haunting. An accidental archivist, tasked with preserving horrors no one was meant to see, a silent witness to humanity's deepest mistakes. It makes you wonder what kind of person would even be left to gather such a collection.
Indeed. And the archivist's core revelation really sets the philosophical tone for our entire exploration of this material, echoing the very essence of what Resident Evil lays bare.
Okay, what did they find? What's the core revelation?
They write, "You will find no heroes here without scars, no villains without the shadows of once human dreams. You will find men and women who reached too far and those who paid the price."
No easy answers, then.
None at all. It continues, "You will find the truth that monsters are not born, they are made. And sometimes we make them ourselves."
Wow. Okay.
What's truly fascinating here is how that immediately reframes the series from just a monster story into a deeply human one, forcing us to look inward. It strips away the easy comfort of external evil and points directly to human failing.
That's a powerful opening, one that challenges our assumptions right from the start. So our mission today is clear. We are going to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight from this harrowing archive to understand what Resident Evil truly reveals about us.
Right, get to the heart of it.
We're going on a journey from the shadowy origins of corporations that turned cutting-edge science into catastrophic weapons to the ordinary, desperate people forced by circumstance to become either heroes or tragically monsters themselves.
Yeah, that line gets blurred so often.
We'll explore the complex, multi-layered, dark heart of this saga together and see what terrifying reflections we find staring back.
Let's do it.
It's incredible how far back the roots of this horror truly go. We often think of Resident Evil as starting in a lab with a rogue scientist, right?
Yeah, like Birkin or Marcus.
Exactly. But the archive tells us the real genesis of fear is something far more ancient, something nature itself gave us. Let's cast our minds back to the very beginning, long before the infamous fall of Raccoon City, long before the chaos and the widespread terror.
Way back.
The genesis of fear in Resident Evil doesn't begin in a laboratory or with a crazed scientist. It starts with something far older, far more primordial, the progenitor virus.
Ah, the source of it all.
The archive makes it chillingly clear this wasn't a man-made horror. Not initially. It was nature's gift. An ancient biological wonder discovered deep in the jungles of West Africa.
Right, found in those specific flowers, the stairway to the sunflowers.
Exactly. Indigenous tribes there, the source tells us, revered it, even worshipped it as the stairway to the sun, clearly understanding its immense power and, crucially, its inherent danger and potential for both creation and destruction.
They knew its power, respected it.
But this natural force, this primordial biological potential, was, as the archive puts it, the first sin. It was desecrated by men who saw only opportunity, a resource to be exploited, a power to be harnessed, regardless of the consequences.
And that's where Spencer and his buddies come in.
Precisely. What's truly unsettling here is that even before the first zombie shambled, the seed of destruction was rooted firmly in human ambition and a profound lack of ethical foresight.
It always comes back to ambition, doesn't it?
It seems so. The architects of this unfolding doom were the key figures behind the Umbrella Corporation: Oswell E. Spencer, Edward Ashford, and James Marcus.
The unholy trinity.
The source material is chillingly direct about their initial motivations, laying bare their true agenda. It states they didn't want to cure disease. They wanted to reforge humanity in their own image.
Wow. Not subtle, eugenicist undertones right from the start.
Absolutely. This wasn't about philanthropy or public health. It was about dominion, about playing God on a biological scale. In 1968, the Umbrella Corporation was formally established, and its deceptive nature was baked in from the very start, a foundational lie that would fester for decades.
The smiling corporate face hiding something truly monstrous.
Exactly. Medicine was their mask. Domination was their goal. This highlights the profound corporate greed, the chilling eugenicist ambitions, and the unbridled desire for control that served as the foundational bedrock for all the horrors that followed. They didn't just want to create new treatments or medicines. They wanted to fundamentally alter the very fabric of human existence, to sculpt a new world in their own twisted image.
A terrifying vision.
And from that twisted, almost divine ambition came a horrifying catalog of viral abominations, humanity's undoing, one catastrophic attempt after another. It's a progression of nightmare, each more audacious than the last.
Precisely. Each virus or parasite detailed in the archive represents a distinct, increasingly grotesque attempt by Umbrella and eventually other entities to play God, illustrating their insatiable hunger for control, power, and often an unnerving vision of accelerated, unnatural evolution.
Okay, let's break them down. Where does it start after progenitor? The T virus, right? That's the classic one.
Yeah, the T virus, this was James Marcus's twisted attempt at forced evolution, a derivative of the progenitor virus spliced with leech DNA, believed to induce new forms of life.
Leech DNA.
Yeah, pretty gross. And it didn't just kill, it fundamentally altered life itself on a cellular level, creating a pandemic of the undead. The archive describes it as something that didn't just kill, it twisted, it reanimated, it made puppets of the dead, turning victims into mindless, aggressive creatures.
The zombies we all know and dread.
Right. But it wasn't just about shuffling zombies. The T-virus was the very blueprint for Umbrella's terrifying bioorganic weapons, or BOWs.
Oh, right, like the hunters.
Exactly. It produced iconic, calculated horrors like the nimble clawed hunters designed for specific combat roles, or the grotesque, tongue-lashing lickers mutated from humans, each a chilling testament to the virus's versatility and Umbrella's cold ambition.
So adaptable, terrifyingly so.
Yeah. Its impact spread from the confines of the Spencer Mansion, where it first unleashed its horrors directly into the firestorms of Raccoon City, turning an entire populace into mindless, flesh-hungry monsters and setting the stage for global chaos.
So the T-virus was the foundational terror, but Umbrella's ambition, that insatiable hunger to play God, meant they were only just beginning to scratch the surface of bioengineering horror. They always had to push further, didn't they?
Not at all. Their thirst for control knew no bounds. Then came the G virus, described as Birkin's abomination evolution without limit or control.
Ah, William Birkin, he took things even further.
He did. This was his crowning yet terrifying achievement. Unlike the T-virus, which primarily reanimated and mutated in a somewhat controlled fashion, the G-virus violently pushed for rapid, chaotic, and often monstrous forms of biological evolution within living hosts.
Like what happened to Birkin himself?
Exactly. Birkin himself became a grotesque, perpetually mutating monster after injecting himself with it. The G-virus spawned unpredictable, multi-limbed, eye-laden abominations that defied logical biology, reflecting the sheer, uncontrolled power of genetic manipulation run rampant. This was biological progress untethered from any semblance of ethical restraint.
That's a chilling progression.
Yeah.
From reanimation to uncontrolled, chaotic mutation, just pure nightmare fuel.
And it continued, shifting focus from direct mutation to insidious control. We then have Las Plagas, which wasn't a virus at all, but an ancient parasitic organism that enslaves mind and body.
Right, from RE4,
Yeah.
Ganados. That was different.
It was a significant strategic shift for Umbrella's successors and other rogue organizations, as it allowed for a terrifying form of directed control over its victims, rather than just random animalistic mutation. We saw its devastating effects in Resident Evil 4, where rural Spanish villagers were turned into compliant yet aggressive thralls, the ganados, all under the direct command of their parasitic master.
And they were smarter than zombies, weren't they? They could use tools, cooperate.
Precisely. The host retains basic intelligence, making them even more insidious and adaptable than the mindless zombies.
So intelligence started to creep into the monsters themselves, or at least the ability to be strategically controlled. That's a whole new level of horror.
Precisely. The horror wasn't just mindless shambling anymore, it was an organized, thinking threat. This led eventually to Ouroboros.
Ah, Wesker's endgame.
Albert Wesker's ultimate dream, his perverted vision of enforced evolution where only the strong survive. Derived from the progenitor virus and influenced by Wesker's own enhanced physiology, this wasn't about controlling humanity. It was about its annihilation, paving the way for a new, superior world, according to his twisted, nihilistic ideals.
Pure destruction.
In Resident Evil 5, we saw the horrific results as it transformed hosts into monstrous, tentacled behemoths, absorbing biomass and destroying everything in its path, literally consuming the world to reshape it.
A vision of pure destructive nihilism.
Mm-hmm.
And the nightmare, of course, persisted and mutated further after Wesker's fall. It didn't just end there.
It did not. Following that, the C virus emerged, a parasite and virus combined, which created the intelligent, monstrous Javo and caused global catastrophes in Resident Evil 6.
The Javo. They were really something else. Intelligent, tactical.
This hybrid strain allowed for more complex tactical behavior from the infected, granting them the ability to use weapons and even communicate. Their mutations were more adaptable, grotesque, and often targeted to specific body parts, making them incredibly dangerous and difficult to predict. This signaled a global, widespread bioterrorism threat that Umbrella had only dreamed of achieving.
So now the enemy wasn't just monstrous, but cunning and globally pervasive. That truly amplifies the sense of existential dread.
Absolutely. Then we encounter the E-series mold.
Oh, the Baker family. RE7, that was a shift, wasn't it? More personal horror.
A huge shift. The source of Eveline's curse, the theft of identity itself, as seen in the isolated nightmare of the Baker estate in Resident Evil 7, this unique bioorganic weapon essentially allowed for a pervasive, mind-altering, and physically transforming infection.
It wasn't just about bodies changing. It was about minds being controlled, wasn't it? Hallucinations.
Exactly. More than just physical mutation, it created a psychological horror, granting Eveline the ability to project hallucinations, control her family, and even assimilate the consciousness of others, blurring the lines of what it meant to be human and terrifyingly stealing people's very identities and free will.
A deeply personal, psychological horror. A stark contrast to the global outbreaks. And finally, the Cadu, which brought us back to the roots of the progenitor, didn't it, in Village?
Yes, the Cadu, Mother Miranda's desperate final tool for resurrection, her key to bring back her deceased child. This ancient parasite, connected to the original progenitor, allowed for incredible genetic manipulation and the creation of monstrous, yet often intelligent creatures under her direct command, as explored in Resident Evil Village.
Miranda's motivations were different, twisted but rooted in grief.
Her obsession twisted science and mysticism, creating her four lords, each a unique, grotesque experiment derived from the Cadu's power, designed to find a perfect vessel for her daughter. Each one of these bioweapons, as the archive explains, is not just fiction. It's a profound reflection of our deepest fears about unchecked technology, limitless power, and the ultimate horrifying loss of control over our own biology and destiny.
It's quite a rogues gallery of biological nightmares. Okay, so with all these terrifying creations unleashed, let's truly grasp the scale of the unfolding disaster by walking through the timeline humanity's fall, step by step. It really helps to see how quickly things spiral out of control from that initial first sin.
Definitely helps put it in perspective.
It starts pre-1960s with the discovery of the ancient progenitor virus in West Africa, this incredible natural wonder, swiftly followed by Umbrella's secretive founding in 1968, hidden behind the facade of a benevolent pharmaceutical company.
The lie begins. Then we move into the 1970s, 1980s, a period defined by clandestine early experiments within Umbrella's hidden labs. This era saw James Marcus's obsession with leeches leading to the first strains of the T-virus.
Before he got removed from the picture.
Right, only for him to be brutally assassinated by his partners, Spencer and Birkin, who then stole his research. This sets the stage for the treacherous rise of ambitious figures like William Birkin and Albert Wesker, who continued Umbrella's legacy of betrayal, scientific hubris, and the ruthless pursuit of viral weaponization, unknowingly digging humanity's grave.
Just layers of betrayal and ambition building on each other. And then came 1998, the year the world changed. This single year, a dark turning point, saw a catastrophic cascade of pivotal world-altering events.
Everything hits the fan.
It started with Resident Evil Zero detailing Marcus's creations, the monstrous T-virus-infused leeches, devouring the Ecliptic Express train, and setting off the chain reaction that would engulf the Arklay Mountains.
The first domino.
Then, the Spencer Mansion incident in Resident Evil 1 became a tomb of horrors, where the STARS Bravo and Alpha teams investigated, uncovering Umbrella's monstrous experiments and Albert Wesker's profound betrayal, shattering the elite police unit.
Wesker showing his true colors.
But the true cataclysm was the devastating fall of Raccoon City in Resident Evil 2 and 3, where the T-virus, alongside Birkin's G-virus, unleashed its full unholy fury. Heroes like Rookie Officer Leon Kennedy, college student Claire Redfield, and the incredibly resilient STRS operative Jill Valentine, aided by UBCS mercenary Carlos Oliveira, emerged from the chaos, fighting against an unstoppable tide of the undead and bioorganic weapons.
Just pure chaos and survival.
The struggle was so immense, so out of control that finally, as a horrifying measure to prevent global contamination, the entire city was erased in nuclear fire.
A drastic, terrifying end for the city. Following the obliteration of Raccoon City, the horror couldn't be contained, truly marking the dawn of global bioterrorism. The 2000s and beyond saw the virus go truly global, escaping Umbrella's direct control and spreading like a cancer.
So the genie was out of the bottle.
Completely. Code Veronica detailed Umbrella's Antarctic base being destroyed, hinting at their continued reach in the desperate attempts of Claire and Chris Redfield to dismantle their operations. In Resident Evil 4, Leon S. Kennedy battles the enigmatic Los Illuminados cult and their mind-controlling plagas in rural Spain, uncovering a new, terrifying form of parasitic control weaponized for global influence.
A whole new threat vector.
Later, in Resident Evil 5, Chris Redfield and Sheva Alomar finally confronted and seemingly ended Albert Wesker's Ouroboros nightmare in Africa, destroying his plan for a purged New World Order and seemingly bringing Umbrella's direct legacy of terror to an end.
Seemingly being the operative word there, maybe. But the nightmare, of course, persisted, continually mutating and resurfacing in new, terrifying forms. The 2010s and beyond brought new forms of terror and new adversaries.
The fight never really ends.
Resident Evil 6 unleashed the C-virus, an even more adaptable and intelligent strain, spreading global catastrophe across the US and China, forcing a new generation of heroes and some familiar faces into a desperate worldwide struggle.
Bioterror on a truly global scale.
And then we saw that shift again to more intimate, yet no less terrifying horrors with Resident Evil 7, where an ordinary man, Ethan Winters, faced the insidious mold horrors at the isolated Baker estate in rural Louisiana.
Poor Ethan. Just wanted his wife back.
His deeply personal and horrific story culminated in Resident Evil Village, where he made his final stand against the ancient grief-stricken Mother Miranda and her Kedu parasite, enduring unimaginable suffering to protect his family. It's a relentless, evolving march of escalating bioweaponry, each step more devastating than the last, a testament to humanity's hubris and the enduring consequences of playing God.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, what this entire viral catalog and timeline summarize is a consistent escalating pattern. Each biological weapon represents a new, increasingly grotesque attempt at control, at evolution, at playing God.
It's always that desire for control.
The consistent thread woven through this entire harrowing timeline is humanity's hubris, the insatiable desire for power, the relentless pursuit of scientific advancement without a moral compass. This is a profound reflection of what happens when we stop asking, should we, and only ask, can we?
That question again, should we versus can we?
The unbridled pursuit of knowledge and power without ethical consideration, the prioritization of profit and control over human life and safety, these are the foundational sins. And with that chilling thought, let's maybe transition from the grand, world-altering scale of these viruses and pivot to the profound human cost, the personal impact, and the faces in the fire, the individual survivors and those who tragically succumb to the darkness, because their stories are just as vital as the viruses themselves.
Absolutely. Amid all this darkness, this escalating horror and corporate depravity, we find the survivors human, fragile, flawed. These aren't your typical invincible superheroes impervious to pain or fear. No, the archive makes it profoundly clear. These are people who bleed, who lose, who doubt, and who rise against impossible odds.
They feel real, grounded in that trauma.
Their struggles are intensely personal, often captured in their fragmented logs and diaries, or unsent letters found among the rubble, each one a testament to their endurance and sacrifice. Let's really delve into their voices, because they are the heart of this saga.
It's vital to hear these voices as they truly flesh out the profound human cost of this biological war. Take Chris Redfield. His field journal, blood-stained and torn, paints a picture of a man haunted by decades of combat, by loss, and by the grim necessity of his work.
He's been through so much from the mansion onwards.
He writes, "The mission ends, the war doesn't. Every time I close my eyes, I see them. Joseph, Richard. I survived. They didn't. I load my gun. Again."
Wow. The survivor's guilt is palpable.
And later, a chilling self-reflection on the toll it has taken. "I've become the thing I hated. I send men into the dark. I pull the trigger first. And the boy who joined STARS to protect, he's gone."
That's heavy. He's lost part of himself.
What this reveals about Chris is the immense crushing weight of a prolonged, seemingly never-ending fight against bioterrorism, the profound psychological cost of survival, and the blurring line between a protector and a hardened, even ruthless killer. He truly carries the weight of the world on his scarred shoulders, a living monument to the perpetual war.
And then there's Jill Valentine, who seems to embody pure, unyielding resilience, even after facing unimaginable trauma, especially with Nemesis.
She absolutely does. Her unsent letter, discovered among her personal effects after Raccoon City, is equally raw and speaks volumes about the lasting psychological scars. She writes, "Some nights I still dream of the mansion, the smell of rot, the sound of doors creaking open, slow like death. I fight because it's all I have left."
Just relentless trauma.
And the deeper scar, the one left by Nemesis and Wesker. "I want to believe there's still a part of me that's whole. That Nemesis didn't tear it all away. That Wesker didn't poison what I was."
A mind control, the manipulation. Awful.
Jill embodies incredible resilience despite immense trauma. A true survivor, enduring not just the physical, but the profound psychological scars inflicted by bioterrorism and personal betrayal. She fights even when the world steals pieces of her soul, a testament to an indomitable will that refuses to break, even when fractured.
Leon's transformation is also striking. He started as a rookie, full of ideals, and was immediately thrown into the abyss of Raccoon City.
It is. Leon S. Kennedy, in a private audio log recorded years after Raccoon City, reflects on his lost innocence and the grim reality of his new life. The rookie died in Raccoon City. What's left is someone who knows better, someone who can't stop.
That first day on the job, unimaginable.
And later, the grim reality of his new life as a government agent.
"They gave me a badge, then they gave me a gun, now they give me orders I can't question."
Trapped in the system, fighting the darkness from within.
This highlights his profound transformation from a naive rookie officer, eager to serve and protect, into a ghost in his own story, forever haunted by the cataclysmic events of his past, and now committed to a seemingly never-ending fight against the same evil that destroyed his innocence, forced to operate in the morally gray areas of intelligence and covert operations.
And what about the enigmatic Ada Wong? She's always an interesting case, a figure who consistently operates in the shadows, her true motivations always just out of reach. Where does the archive place her?
Ada, in a Shadow Report, a self-authored encrypted message found, apparently offers a rare glimpse into her complex motivations and self-perception. "They think they use me. They don't understand. I walk the line because I choose to."
Always playing her own game.
Her internal monologue continues, revealing her pragmatic and calculating nature. "Trust is currency. I spend it when I must. They see me as a tool, a weapon, a whisper. Let them."
So self-aware, almost detached.
Ada represents profound moral ambiguity, a mastery of self-preservation, and an unparalleled ability to operate outside traditional hero villain boundaries. She is truly the shadow no one can catch, always a step ahead, always with her own agenda, seemingly driven by a pursuit of knowledge and power that transcends loyalty to any single faction.
And then there's Ethan Winters, perhaps the most relatable of them all, an ordinary guy, utterly devoid of special training, thrown into extraordinary, unimaginable circumstances. His journey is a testament to the primal human drive to protect family.
Ethan's torn notebook page from near the village, discovered after his final confrontation, is heartbreaking in its simplicity and profound in its sacrifice. "I just wanted my family back, and I lost myself. What's left of me now?"
Oh man, the cost.
He continues, his desperation palpable. "I thought I'd faced hell in Louisiana, but I hadn't seen hell's heart until I came here. I'll die if I must, but I'll die fighting."
Just pure determination, fueled by love.
His journey represents the quintessential ordinary man forced into extraordinary horrors, sacrificing everything, even his own humanity, for love and family. His story highlights how even everyday individuals become tragically entangled in the grand bioterror narrative, often at immense personal cost, becoming a hero by sheer force of will, love, and a refusal to give up.
But the mirror reflects more than just heroes, or accidental heroes fighting against impossible odds. The archive reminds us there are other faces, those who embody the ambition, the madness, the twisted desires that fueled the nightmares to begin with. These are the villains, and their stories are just as crucial to understanding the horror.
Indeed. Their voices, too, are captured in these archives, offering terrifying insights into their distorted visions and monstrous philosophies. Albert Wesker, for instance.
The ultimate mastermind for so long.
In a fragment of his manifesto discovered among his personal effects, he reveals chilling nihilistic ambition, a profound disdain for humanity, and an almost messianic self-belief. They'll curse my name, but in the end, they'll build statues of me. I am the storm that will cleanse this world.
Complete God complex.
He truly saw humanity as weakness to be erased, a failed evolutionary experiment, and his desire for enforced evolution was a God complex taken to its most extreme and destructive conclusion, believing himself the rightful architect of a new, superior species.
And then there's Mother Miranda, a different kind of antagonist, one whose monstrosity seems born not of pure evil, but of unimaginable grief.
Right, her motivation is understandable, even if her actions are horrific. Her unfinished journal entry found in her lab is a testament to how grief can be twisted into a holy mission, justifying unspeakable acts in the name of a personal, albeit warped, goal.
What'd you say?
She writes, "Let them call me mad. I will bring back my child. The Kadu is my key. I will build my daughter a body worthy of her soul, and the world will kneel at her rebirth."
Chilling. All for her daughter.
Her actions, however monstrous, stem from a deeply personal, overwhelming desire to resurrect her deceased daughter, Eva. This twisted maternal love, fueled by the Kadu's power and centuries of experimentation, drove her to inflict untold suffering on the inhabitants of her village, all in the name of her ultimate, desperate objective.
And we can't forget the original architect of Umbrella's evil, the mastermind behind it all, Oswald E. Spencer. His ambition wasn't just corporate, it was fundamentally eugenic. He's the root.
Spencer is the very embodiment of the God complex, a man driven by an elitist vision of human evolution. The archive describes him as someone who traded his soul for the dream of a new species, driven by a singular overarching desire to reforge humanity in their own image.
That phrase again, reforging humanity.
He saw the progenitor virus not as a disease to be cured, but as a tool to create a new, superior humanity with himself at its apex. His ambition set the entire horrific saga in motion, from the earliest experiments to the final global outbreaks. And then there's Alex Wesker.
Another Wesker.
You?
Oh, right, from Revelations 2.
Yes. From a corrupted digital log recovered on Zabitaj Island, we hear a different facet of that same dark ambition, yet distinct from Albert. Spencer wanted gods. I want freedom. Evolution without the leash. My virus will do what his could not. I will not die in his shadow.
So, surpassing Spencer, achieving immortality her own way.
She represents a desire for self-realization through biological control, an intellectual's ambition to surpass even her creator and achieve true, unburdened existence through the Ouroboros virus and consciousness transfer.
So what does this all mean? We have these iconic heroes and villains, but the archive also gives us incredible glimpses into the inner thoughts of many other characters, the quiet witnesses and forgotten voices who experienced these horrors firsthand. Their side character logs and lost archives offer profoundly different perspectives on survival, sacrifice, and the sheer terror of their world.
These are crucial insights into the human fabric of this world, illustrating the sheer breadth of experience within this apocalypse. For instance, Rebecca Chambers, the young STIRS medic and brilliant biochemist.
Right, the rookie from RE0 and RE1.
In her lab notes from the Arclay incident, she makes a profound observation that echoes the series' core theme. The T virus isn't just a disease, it's a mirror. It shows us what happens when curiosity outruns conscience.
From someone right there, seeing the science go wrong. Powerful.
Or consider Barry Burton, the loyal STARS family man, in a private recording after the mansion incident, grappling with his own difficult choices made under duress from Wesker.
I've done things I can't forgive myself for, but I'm still breathing. And as long as I am, I'll protect what's mine.
His family was everything. Shows the impossible choices people were forced into.
Yes, the immense pressure and manipulation he faced from Wesker, but ultimately, his core drive was the unwavering love for his family.
And the unwavering loyalty of some, even in the face of absolute despair and impending doom, is a powerful counterpoint to the rampant betrayals.
Yes, like Carlos Oliveira, the UBCS mercenary, in a desperate field memo during the fall of Raccoon City, speaking of Jill, "If I'm going down, I'll go down beside her. Jill fights like hell, owes her a debt." He really stepped up. That loyalty amidst pure chaos is truly moving, showing the bonds that can form even among strangers in the face of death.
The deeply personal horror is highlighted by Sherry Birkin, William Birkin's daughter, in a childhood note recovered years later. "The monsters aren't outside, they're in my house."
Oh, God, from a child's perspective, her own father.
This is the harrowing perspective of a child whose world has been irrevocably shattered by internal familial monsters, the very architects of her trauma. Then there's the scientist's regret from Luis Serra, the Spanish researcher who aided Leon in Resident Evil 4 in a torn notebook page. "The plaga is damnation, not salvation. I thought I could control it. I was wrong."
A chilling admission of failed control of a scientific mind realizing the horrific consequences of his work too late.
And the ultimate acts of self-sacrifice, as seen in the words of Piers Nivens, Chris Redfield's loyal BSAA subordinate in RE6.
Piers, yeah, that was heroic.
Piers, in an unsent message found on a BSAA comm unit addressed to Chris during their final mission in China, states, "Captain Redfield, you don't have to carry this all alone. Let me help you, please." This exemplifies incredible loyalty and self-sacrifice, recognizing the immense burden on his captain and offering his life to lighten the load.
A truly selfless act.
Conversely, Chief Brian Irons, the corrupt Raccoon City police chief, in a personal journal fragment recovered from the RPD station, offers a disturbing glimpse into pure human depravity, even amidst an apocalypse. "Let them rot. I'll take what's mine before it all burns."
Ugh. Some people just prioritize themselves, even at the end of the world.
Even in the face of total societal collapse, human corruption and self-interest persist, perhaps even thrive. And the hint of internal corruption captured by Marvin Branagh, the brave RPD officer, in his blood-stained RPD diary. "If anyone finds this, don't trust the chief. There's something's not telling us."
A final, desperate warning. Poor Marvin.
And the sheer fear and a last wish from Richard Aiken, a STARS Bravo team member, in his STARS personal log. "I didn't sign up for this if this is my last entry. Tell my folks I tried." These quiet voices, these fragments, truly build a rich, intricate tapestry of human experience in the face of unimaginable horror, reminding us that every victim, every survivor has a story.
It's heartbreaking.
What's truly fascinating here across all these character insights is how the line between hero and monster truly blurs in this world. This isn't just a clever narrative device, it's an intrinsic part of the horror and part of the profound truth that this archive uncovers.
Right, it's not black and white.
It forces us, the listeners, to consider, what would you do to survive when all you know collapses? How far would you go for a cause or for revenge or for a loved one if faced with such unimaginable pressures? The monsters aren't solely the mutated creatures lurking in the shadows. They are also born from human choices, from desperation, from ambition, and from profound, irreversible betrayals. This is the heart of the Resident Evil saga.
A very human heart, even amidst the monsters.
And from the grand, world-altering scale of these viruses to the crushing human cost, let's dig even deeper now into the corporate conspiracies and hidden truths that fueled this nightmare, the stuff they didn't want anyone to find.
Okay, let's unpack this. So we've heard the direct accounts, the personal struggles, the grand ambitions. But if you dig deeper into the hidden files, the memos never meant to be read, the suppressed research logs, the story darkens even further, truly revealing the chilling, insidious drivers behind the bioterror. These are the secrets beneath the surface, the whispers of power and ambition that went unchecked, allowing horror to flourish.
What's truly disturbing here is how these classified documents expose the sheer, chilling ambition behind Umbrella's operations, demonstrating a complete disregard for human life in the pursuit of absolute power. Consider Project Mirror.
Project Mirror, what was that?
An Umbrella initiative from 1995. This was described as a failed dream to copy consciousness itself, a chilling attempt at creating digital immortality, utilizing progenitor virus-enhanced neural mapping on human subjects.
Copying consciousness.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Wow, the horrific side effects were meticulously documented. Shared hallucinations, identity collapse, and ultimately complete mental breakdown of the subjects.
Oh, God. Of course.
And the cold, utterly detached corporate directive from Umbrella High Command to Oswell E. Spencer reveals their ruthless priorities above all else. Termination of test batch recommended prior to regulatory review, followed by a chilling order. Secure data for Project Immortal, classified.
Terminate the test batch. Just like that.
This wasn't just fictional horror. It echoes profound, real-world fears of science without a soul, unchecked experimentation, and the dehumanizing pursuit of forbidden knowledge at any cost, where sentient beings are merely disposable data points.
That's horrifying. The idea of literally trying to copy a mind and then just terminating the test batch like a faulty product.
Yeah.
It speaks to a level of dehumanization that's almost beyond comprehension.
Precisely. And then there's the deeply unsettling insight into Blue Umbrella's secret agenda from a 2018 internal memo.
Blue Umbrella, they were supposed to be the good guys, right? Cleaning up the mess.
That was the PR, yes. Publicly, their PR front was working. Public believes in our redemption. They meticulously crafted an image as the reform saviors, dismantling Umbrella's legacy. But an internal memo from internal operations to the executive circle reveals a chilling, cynical truth. Initiate phase 2. Asset recovery.
Asset recovery. What kind of assets? BOWS.
And even more unsettling, reactivate sleeper BOW bioorganic weapon assets if necessary.
No way. So it was all a front.
This presents the deeply unsettling idea of a mask of redemption hiding an old hunger, raising profound questions about true corporate reform and whether power, once tasted, can ever truly relinquish its grip. Is it truly a new umbrella, an entity dedicated to stopping bioterrorism, or just a more sophisticated, more subtly manipulative facade for the old evil, simply waiting for the opportune moment to strike again?
That's deeply cynical. And we keep coming back to the original sin of Umbrella itself, laid bare in Spencer's letters to Miranda from the 1970s. These aren't just casual notes. They're a manifesto of his grand, terrifying vision.
This is a critical piece of the puzzle, truly the smoking gun that reveals Umbrella's core, dark philosophy. Spencer, in a draft letter to Mother Miranda, unequivocally poses the question, could the virus not be salvation rather than evolution? Let us build gods.
Let us build gods, explicit.
This is not ambiguous. It's irrefutable proof that the virus was never about healing. It was about becoming gods. It explicitly outlines Spencer's eugenic vision, thinly cloaked in scientific terms, connecting back directly to the initial playing God theme that started this entire saga. It wasn't about curing disease or improving human life. It was about recreating humanity in his own image, culling the weak, and wielding unimaginable, almost divine power over life and death itself.
Just pure, unadulterated hubris. What other disturbing revelations does this unearthed archive hold? Secrets that unveil the pervasive rot within these organizations.
Many. Project Cerberus from 1997, for instance, meticulously documented Umbrella's attempts to develop canine BOWs, the zombie dogs.
Oh yeah, everyone remembers those dogs.
Which led to excessive aggression, loss of handler control, and ultimately project termination due to their inherent unpredictability. This shows the constant inherent danger of their creations, the hubris of thinking they could fully control such destructive power, and the terrifying cycle of creation, failure, and disposal.
Even the dogs went rogue.
The Connections email about Eveline from the organization responsible for her development showed early red flags that were tragically ignored. Eveline shows unexpected dominance. Suppression protocols recommended.
But they didn't suppress her, did they?
No. This chillingly foreshadows the horrifying capabilities of the E-Series mold and the chaos Eveline would unleash at the Baker estate, highlighting how even Umbrella-affiliated researchers recognized the immense uncontrollable threat she posed, yet the project continued, valuing potential over safety.
So even with warnings staring them in the face, they pushed ahead, didn't they? A terrifying pattern of ambition over caution.
Indeed. A Neo-Umbrella field report on Carla Radams, a clone created from Ada Wong's DNA by Derek C. Simmons.
The clone of Ada in RE6.
Yes. It chillingly states, Carla Radams clone unstable, cellular degeneration accelerating, terminate or risk exposure. This reveals the dark, inhumane side of cloning and the weaponization of human subjects, treating sentient, suffering beings as disposable experiments, their lives mere footnotes in the pursuit of a perfect bioweapon.
Just disposable tools.
A Tricell memo regarding Plaga specimens from the rival pharmaceutical company that succeeded Umbrella as a major bioweapons developer gleefully notes, recovered Plaga specimens show promise for intelligent BOWS. Mental retention in hosts exceeds expectations. Proceed with weaponization phase.
So the cycle just continued with new players. Tricell picked up where Umbrella left off.
This demonstrates the continued, relentless pursuit of ever more dangerous bioweapons across different organizations, showcasing that the ambition wasn't limited to Umbrella, it became a global competitive industry. Finally, an RPD undercover surveillance log from 1998, just a week before Raccoon City fell, is particularly haunting. Agent reported increased movement at Nest Lab, T-virus transport confirmed, civilian police forces unaware of impending containment failure.
They knew. Someone knew it was about to happen, and the regular cops had no idea.
This illustrates the profound secrecy, the massive corporate hover-up, and the horrifying vulnerability of the public, kept completely in the dark, innocent and unsuspecting, as their city approached inevitable nuclear doom. These hidden files truly paint a picture of relentless pursuit of power at all costs, regardless of the human lives in the way.
So what does this all mean? These aren't just fictional documents, are they? They're stark, chilling reflections of our own world. They resonate deeply with fundamental, real-world fears. Corporate power without conscience, science without soul, the cost of ambition without ethics. It makes you think about how easily unchecked power can lead to catastrophic consequences.
It really does hit home.
This really raises an important, uncomfortable question. How much do we truly know about the inner workings of the powerful entities in our world? How many hidden files exist right now, containing secrets that could fundamentally change our perception of reality, or worse, threaten our very existence?
It's a sobering, almost terrifying thought. But even with these revealed secrets, the story doesn't end with the last memo or the final document. The void left by the unknown, the tantalizing glimpses of a larger truth, is often filled by the myths we tell ourselves, the fan theories that keep the questions alive, that demand deeper answers than the archives can definitively provide.
Ah, the fan theories. That's always fertile ground.
This demonstrates the enduring power of these stories to resonate beyond their immediate narrative.
And here's where it gets really interesting, where the documented facts blend with fervent speculation and persistent questions. Beyond the official memos and the bloodstained logs, Resident Evil thrives on what it doesn't tell us definitively. It lingers in the shadows, in the unspoken, in the tantalizing what-ifs.
Exactly. The ambiguity fuels the fire.
This is where the myths, the fan theories that keep the world of Resident Evil alive between games truly come into play. They're the stories we tell ourselves to fill in the gaps, to reconcile the chilling possibilities, and to extend the narrative far beyond its official conclusions.
What's truly fascinating here is how these theories speak to the enduring impact of the series and its most iconic characters, revealing the audience's deep engagement. Take the perennial, almost unkillable question: is Wesker truly dead?
Right, after the volcano. Seems pretty final, but...
Despite his seemingly definitive defeat in a volcano in Resident Evil 5, the theory suggests that his mind may linger in Umbrella's digital tombs, perhaps as a sentient AI, like echoing that Project Mirror idea.
Ooh, interesting link.
Or that new threats may bear his mark, influenced by his ideology or genetic legacy. Why would such a powerful, iconic villain's death be doubted so persistently by the community, even after seemingly definitive defeat? It speaks to the character's sheer impact, his near-superhuman resilience, and the persistent, almost immortal nature of evil in the Resident Evil universe.
He just feels too big to truly kill off.
His ambition was so grand, so nihilistic, that his complete erasure seems almost unfathomable, suggesting his influence could still reverberate.
And what about the mystery surrounding Ada Wong, the ultimate enigma? And there's a persistent theory that asks, is the Ada we see the real woman or a clone? This plays right into the themes of identity and manipulation we've seen in the secret files.
This theory, stemming from concepts like Project Mirror and the horrific existence of Carla Radams as a clone of Ada, posits, what if we never saw the real Ada again after RE2?
That would change everything.
The chilling implication, often debated, is the Ada we know the clone, and the true Ada disappeared after Raccoon City? This theory speaks directly to her enigmatic nature, her constant shifting allegiances, her seemingly ageless appearance, and the profound themes of identity, manipulation, and artificial life that are deeply woven into the series.
So, is she a perfected version of what they failed with Carla?
Possibly. If Umbrella could replicate consciousness, if they could clone who is truly original and who is merely a manufactured copy designed for a purpose, it makes you question everything you thought you knew about her.
That plays right into the idea of trust and deception we explored earlier, and the pervasive sense that nothing is ever truly what it seems in this world. And what about Blue Umbrella? They're presented as the good guys now, a reformed organization, but that internal memo we found suggested otherwise. The fans must pick up on that too.
Exactly. This leads to the enduring cynical theory. Blue Umbrella's secret agenda savior, or a mask for a new umbrella order. We revisited that chilling internal memo that stated, PR front working, public believes in our redemption, initiate phase 2, asset recovery.
Asset recovery. Still sounds ominous.
The persistent distrust in the fan community, despite Blue Umbrella's public heroism, reflects the series' core message about unchecked corporate power and the inherent difficulty, perhaps impossibility, of true redemption for entities that have caused such widespread destruction. It questions whether a leopard can truly change its spots, or if this is just a more sophisticated, more effective form of control, a rebranding to continue their sinister work under the guise of benevolence.
Can Umbrella ever really be trusted, no matter the color? And then there's the subtle, pervasive horror of Evelyn. Even after her physical defeat in RE7, there's a sense that her consciousness, her influence, might still be out there in the mold.
Yeah, that's a creepy one. The theory, did Eveline's mind merge with the mold, suggests the mold may still echo with her will, and that her consciousness may still linger, influencing events far beyond her death.
So the mold itself is like haunted by her.
This extends the horror beyond a single defeated antagonist, suggesting a pervasive, almost sentient evil that transcends physical form. It connects to the idea of an infectious, lingering terror that continues to permeate the environment, a pervasive curse rather than a contained threat. It implies that the mold, the very foundation of the baker's nightmare, is permanently tainted by her consciousness, capable of remanifesting her malevolent will or influencing new bioorganic horrors.
That adds a whole layer of psychological dread.
Yeah?
And finally, the unsettling thought that Umbrella wasn't just a cold, calculating corporation driven by profit, but something far more insidious, almost like a religious movement, a cult.
The theory was Umbrella a cult in disguise, posits. Spencer's dream always veiled a eugenics cult of godhood.
Based on that, let us build God's letter.
Exactly. This connects back directly to Spencer's letters to Miranda. This theory highlights the pseudo-religious fervor behind the scientific ambitions of Umbrella's founders, blurring the line between a mere pharmaceutical company and a dangerous ideological cult obsessed with genetic purity and creating a new world order through biological salvation.
Science is the new religion, but a dark one.
It gives their scientific endeavors a terrifying, almost spiritual underpinning, driven by a twisted vision of human perfection and control rather than mere economic gain.
So what does this all mean? We tell these stories, these myths, because we want to believe there's more beneath the surface. We want to believe that the heroes might still be out there, that the villains might not truly be gone, and that there's a grander, more interconnected plan, even if it's terrifying.
We crave patterns, answers, even in horror.
It's also because, deep down, we know Resident Evil was never about closure. It was always about what haunts us after. The unresolved questions, the lingering possibilities, the chilling what-if scenarios they keep the mirror polished and reflecting, inviting us to look deeper into its dark depths.
And these myths, secrets, compelling, scarred characters, and terrifying viruses all lead us to a profound core question about Resident Evil, a question that the archive ultimately tries to answer for us, a question that demands reflection. What is it really about?
Exactly. So what is Resident Evil really? At its surface, it's undeniably a horror story, yes, about viruses and zombies and monsters. It's about jump scares and limited ammo and the frantic scramble for survival in a grotesque environment.
But the fun stuff, sure, But
as we've explored today, peeling back the layers through the dark archive, it's profoundly more than that. It's a fable about humanity, the cautionary tale, deeply embedded in the very nature of human ambition, fear, and the dark side of progress.
drawing together the overarching messages from the Dark Archive and the supplementary lore guide for newcomers, we see consistent, stark themes that echo through every outbreak and every desperate fight. First, science without soul. The relentless, unbridled pursuit of knowledge and power without ethical consideration, leading to unthinkable horrors.
The can we without the should we.
Exactly. Second, corporate greed unchecked. The prioritization of profit, control, and market dominance over human life and safety, where a company's bottom line justifies extinction-level events and global catastrophes.
Umbrella, Tricell, maybe even Blue Umbrella.
Third, survival at any cost. The brutal, agonizing reality faced by characters and the profound moral compromises they might make, the lines they might cross, simply to keep breathing or protect those they love.
The blurred lines we talked about.
And perhaps most chillingly, the monster within. The pervasive idea that true horror often stems not from external mutations or shambling hordes, but from human ambition, from corruption, from desperation, and from the terrifying choices we make when pushed to the brink. As the archivist profoundly stated, monsters are not born, they are made.
That hits hard. This raises an important, almost uncomfortable question for us, the listeners. If monsters are made and not born, then the series challenges us to look beyond the external shambling creatures and confront the ones we create ourselves, within and without.
Yeah, it turns the mirror right back on us.
It asks us to consider our own capacity for darkness, for greed, for control, for turning a blind eye to suffering for personal gain. It forces us to confront the shadow aspects of our own human nature.
Exactly. The series isn't just a thrilling game, it is a profound, relentless mirror held up to society.
So what does this all mean for us? Why do we keep coming back to this world of ambition and ruin, of relentless, terrifying infection and desperate, often futile battles?
Why endure the horror?
Because in the ruins of Raccoon City, in the haunted halls of a decrepit village, in the haunted eyes of the last survivor, we see ourselves. We see what we fear about ourselves, about our society, about the potential for our own technological progress to outpace our wisdom, our ethics, our very humanity.
A cautionary reflection.
And perhaps through this chilling reflection, this unflinching examination of humanity's failures, we see the fragile hope that we might choose better next time, that we might, just might, learn from these fabled horrors.
Echoing the final words from the source, the last witness's ultimate warning, Resident Evil shows us what happens when we stop asking, should we, and only ask, can we?
There it is again, the core question.
The archive ends with a chilling yet vital truth we must carry forward. The final horror would not be the monsters themselves, the physical abominations. The final horror would be to forget. Because, as the last witness tells us, memory is all that stands between us and the next fall.
Wow. Memory is all that stands between us and the next fall. That's profound.
It's a powerful, terrifying call to remember the lessons learned from humanity's failures, so that fiction doesn't become prophecy.
We've taken a deep dive into the terrifying, intricate, yet profoundly reflective world of Resident Evil, exploring its intricate layers of ambition, horror, and survival through the unsettling lens of the Dark Archive. This entire deep dive serves not just as entertainment, but as a warning, a modern horror fable.
And in that reflection, maybe, just maybe, we find the strength to choose another path, a path illuminated by conscience rather than consumed by ambition. So, consider this as we leave you today. What are the progenitor viruses or K2s in your world, in your society, that are being pursued with a focus solely on can we, without asking should we?
What technologies, what ambitions?
What technological advancements, what corporate practices, or even what personal ambitions might be creating unintended monsters or horrors for the future, simply because we're forgetting the profound, chilling lessons of the past? And what will you do to remember?